5:33 p.m. today on October 5th. I'm going to say it again. I should switch the date and see who this is.
Yeah.
What's the date though?
Today is
October 5th.
10/5/2020.
Oh, I just typed that in as my passcode. Good job.
And Max, if we're just testing out how this works, Ruben might want to speak more directly into his microphone.
Alright, we're good.
We'll do that. I'm staring at my screen anyway.
So Ruben, we're good.
All right. So, Bob, how's this? Is this better?
It's better. Thank
All
you.
right. So it's October 5th, 2020 at 5:34 p.m. This is the technology, or what are we? The Communications and Technology Committee. Meeting today. Looks like we have a quorum. Does everyone agree?
Yes.
All right, excellent. I want to do this a little out of order today. Our friend Robin's had a day, lots going on. I want to dive right in and start with any questions or comments you have.
Wow, I didn't expect it that quick, but I was hoping to get a little baseline of where we currently were, but I guess we have sent emails to everybody and we've gotten some back, and I think people are just wondering. Yes, we've got the layout that CMP has roughly 3 months, and we've kind of calculated where that brings us.
Yep.
Then where does Spectrum, when do they jump on board? Is that something that we don't know? And I think that just really looking at that ongoing daily impact of this, utility that we, I know you know it, but do not have not had, and it's just the impact is growing. The longer COVID goes and everybody's life is being impacted, I just can't, even just for myself, say how increasingly frustrating it is, and just the whole historical background of this process, knowing that we should have had this many years ago, before you, Julie, and it's, when you feel like you don't have any control in a situation, it is truly, truly frustrating. I know as a medical provider, when I deal with people in that situation, and so I think just having good communication, especially just to alleviate us from okay, what's going on? I'm gonna call, because to us, you might feel like it's great progress. Oh, we're having, contact with them every month or whatever, and you see it, where from our standpoint, we don't have it, so.
Right. And that's why I sent out the last email, was because to me that was like the first piece of good news I'd ever heard.
Mhm.
So that's why I was
Yeah.
excited,
Yeah.
just because, I wasn't excited. The pole replacement took me by surprise a little
And
bit.
that's what I think upset me, and I know I responded pretty strongly. But it
Because
just
I
felt
never
like-
knew they had to replace 20 poles, but I got information on that, so.
Well, so that's kind of where we're at with that,
Mhm.
and I think, there's 2 or 3 people on the road that have dire circumstances, should I say, that educationally and economically and health-wise, that really is making them feel a greater, need, that we need this, because it's making them feel very, very vulnerable. And I'm actually taking on another job, going for orientation this week. I'm gonna be doing call for Lincoln Health. And one of their things is that it would be nice if I had good connectivity because of taking physician orders and stuff. And that's making me, I can use the data on my phone, but it's not ideal because they can screen things to me, and I've had this eye inflammation, so using my phone is a little bit more visually challenging for me than looking at a screen. So that's causing me a little angst too, how long is this gonna be? So that's a little bit where we're at. Now, to your encouragement, the other day I came out around Filas Corner Road, and CMP has been out there, and my husband just came through, and I think he counted 12, don't hold me to it, but stakes where CMP has put in by poles and maybe pole replacement. So my question to that was, is that, I didn't realize that was part of this, it seemed like an expanded project based on your.
No, so I did find out that apparently those poles are in need of replacement, and they're, I guess every 20 years they supposedly replace them, but they are on, they just need to be replaced. I always thought the poles were tall enough. I know in one section of town we had short poles, but this wasn't the case.
Yeah.
But apparently they need to be replaced, so that's gonna be part of the project.
Okay, so, but for us to get connectivity, because I know it's like on our road, I know you said.
Right, they're gonna
up and
have to
down,
replace-
We have good poles on our road.
Well, I bet I drive your
Yeah.
road at least once a week, hoping I catch,
Yeah.
someone before anyone else does.
So I didn't know if this was another project they were doing, or if it was essential to our connectivity.
I can find out, but my understanding is there's 20 poles that have to be replaced. And then there's, what did she say in that other email?
6 or 9, they needed to do another vendor or something. needed to
Right,
do
another
other
vendor,
work
which means
on it.
there's telephone wires on that, which is, that's gonna have to be moved. But in the meantime, what I've done is I've reached out again to CMP and stressed if they can move their portion of the project along quicker than 3 months because of the remote learning for the kids. It's all about the kids and the remote learning. So I've reached out to them. I've also reached out to the state to ask for some assistance and maybe urging them along. So I reached out to the head of the PUC, the Department of Education, and also I have somebody from Dana Dow's office also reaching out to try to help us get maybe somebody to help move the schedule up.
So if CMP,
So if CMP gets done quicker,
is Spectrum committed to get in, or?
yes,
are they gonna
she's
be
been
kind
very
of-
clear that they're waiting, she has said to me, they are waiting for, make ready to be done, and once make ready's done, they're ready to go.
So they're
Now,
in the queue and they're gonna.
right, but what did, because my brain is fried after today, what did we agree to in the,
Let me,
was it 6 months after make ready? Like, because of the COVID?
I don't know about after make ready, the whole term was 9 months, but that's from, we agree this needs to be done to the end of it was the span of time they were looking for.
Okay,
That number may not even be worth be looking at. And don't confuse that with I think it will take longer, but that number is from technologically a completely different time. There are things, there's digital equipment, there's just stuff in those poles and on those poles that didn't exist before. That being said, from what I've heard from CMP, from what I've heard from Spectrum, everyone that we've communicated with isn't just doing it because we're making them. These people seem enthusiastic. So I can't give you a countdown. I don't think anyone here could tell you it's going to be this many days, hours, and minutes. What we can tell you is everyone involved wants you connected so they can be done with this
and I
project.
see that, I think that they get the urgency, and I was
Yep.
very happy with speaking with the director of the PUC, that he asked me 3 questions, and like who's on the other lines that
Yep.
have to be moved, so I do think we have some traction. Now, what that leads to, I haven't heard from him since Friday, so.
Yeah, so to your, and I didn't quite exactly understand about the technological blah, 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 but, so they signed a contract back in July, and then they got the make ready going,
Mhm.
and maybe 3 months.
That's what,
Roughly
right.
CMP's gonna be done, and then are we looking, what you're saying, that we could be another 6 months for this cable business to be.
Really?
For us to actually have connectivity?
Max, ask Bob if he has the email.
Bob, did you hear that?
I mean, I've got, if you're referring to the one you sent.
No, I'm
I have
referring
that.
to the email we attached to the contract.
Bob, Julie was asking if you have the email that was attached to the contract.
Because you're on your computer, could you look that up?
The
Or,
franchise agreement?
yes.
Yes.
Let me just check.
Thank you, because I don't have my computer with me.
While Bob checks for that, the one thing I'm gonna be very careful not to do is promise you any specific
I
time
know,
window.
and that's been,
So-
that has been a problem, but, you know, you just feel like hopeful, and I'm wondering with those the CMP work on filers, what, we don't know if that's even a part of our
I will call tomorrow and find out.
Well, yes, that is a part of your project,
Okay, so
because they have
because-
to connect to something over there.
Oh, okay.
So are they doing the redundancy off of?
It's not
Castro
even
Road?
redundancy, that's, when they go off of those poles, they have, demarc's the wrong word, but they have, that cable signal has to come from somewhere.
Yeah.
That's the best place to do it. So they have to clear all those poles. Go
I
ahead.
do have the email in front of me. Did you want me to read a particular paragraph?
Just how long after make ready will they have, Spectrum have to make the connection after make ready?
Well, there's the second paragraph saying that she's forwarded all the necessary information to have construction move forward for processing Chapel Hill Road and Union Road. She's emailed all departments involved.
No,
Urgency.
but there was an email that we attached to the franchise agreement.
Yeah, this is the forwarding email.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Franchise agreement,
Okay.
but there's no date in there. I think you're referring to another one.
Probably, it's the one we attached to the agreement.
Sorry. I did never get a copy of that one, Julie.
Okay.
To answer this properly, I don't think it's something we can do in this room. I think I'd like two people to dig into it and agree, because I don't want to give you a wrong answer. We have, not a
Well,
history
we
of
can
giving you
just
the
give
wrong
her the
answer, but I
email.
don't want to, well, yeah, we can do that too.
Yeah, because
not
it's a
really
public
right here.
document. I
Yeah,
mean,
we'll forward you the whole thing and you can take it
Yeah.
apart and ask for explanations.
And if I might add,
Sure.
they've already confirmed, after signing the franchise agreement, that Chapel Hill is a necessity to get done,
Yep,
along with Union.
yep.
I mean, there's really no need to go into this background about whether they're gonna do it or not.
And I don't
They're
think,
gonna do it, and they are doing it.
And-
Right.
They know that they submitted the application to CMP.
and that's not the question.
No question that they're doing it. It's just
Yep.
a matter of time.
I-
It's those darn folks.
I think we've got trust that it's gonna happen at this point. We want to do the best we can, if we can, to try and give a time estimate. What I want to add to that, whatever we get to you, understand this is assuming there's nothing else unknown out of somebody's control. All of these numbers are assuming that project A goes perfectly, so project B and C can do the same
And I
thing.
think for us, it's to understand that somebody is actively working on it, that things aren't just sliding,
Mhm.
and that someone's kind of keeping other people accountable along the line, saying, okay, so we're here, now we're gonna give another call, we're here, and kind of keep people moving. And as you're talking about coming off filers, and he mentioned Union Road, I was just a little bit, and it's a question that I had,
Uh-huh.
concerned about when we, back with Spectrum, remember they had me go out and I needed to get 4 more signatures down on Union Road.
Yep.
So are those people, do you think they're gonna be included? Are they gonna be bringing lines in there too? Do you have any idea to know if those folks are gonna get connected?
I expect they will. Again, let us dig back through and make sure that all of us are looking at the same document.
So this is the document.
Okay.
Spectrum will apply for all applicable pole permits and applications no later than 30 days from the execution of the franchise renewal, and will complete the project within 6 months of receipt of required approvals and completion of make ready. And her original one is saying make ready by pole owners will take 6 months. So we've already cut that one in half because
Right.
They're telling you 3-ish.
they're telling us 3.
Yeah, and when you start seeing the things that you've already seen where things are being marked,
Right,
that's pretty quick work.
right.
So I just think that we needed a ballpark, we needed to see, exactly what's going on, because I was really taken back by Julie's information and her email when it started saying 20 polls and 9 this, and I'm thinking, boy, this is really expanded, and now this is, you know.
Yeah, and I
a
think
big
it's just
to-do,
that,
and-
like I said, I do not know a thing about telephone poles or electric poles, but my understanding was they were due for replacement. So, and then Dawn Burns called me and she said she's been waiting 5 years for a pole to be replaced by CMP, and I didn't know anything about that. So,
I had neither. I'm hoping, it sounds like this may accelerate other things that have been waiting. I'm not surprised that a wooden telephone pole has a limited planned for lifespan. That's how you manage
I don't know
infrastructure.
anything. I don't know anything about telephone poles, but
The other thing I see here, by finally getting this agreement updated, I don't know what a single telephone pole costs. I know it's not $5. I'm encouraged by that because it shows a financial commitment by other parties. You don't halfway that stuff.
so I mean, yeah, and I was just, it was the first time that we'd gotten any communication in writing from CMP that, hey, we're actually out there. And then she very much went into detail as to what they were doing, and that encouraged me. So I was happy. And I'm not to hear again from them till next week, I think it is. I
Yeah,
have
this
a
was-
monthly, we get a monthly email. But I will reach out to CMP tomorrow too, just to confirm that that's part of the project.
And I was only thinking, because it runs down Castner Road, right? Spectrum.
I don't trust my memory. If Max says
Yeah.
it does, then sure.
So it runs down there, it comes out the end of Magtown Road.
Mhm.
So,
I wouldn't be surprised if they're trying to complete some kind of loop. That's what a lot of, any communication provider would do that.
because
I
I
would
think
think.
off Chapel Road, a little bit up on Filas Corner Road has it, because some lady, I think, paid to have it run
Yep.
a little
Mhm.
bit, so it kind of starts up Filas and comes down.
Yeah, both Union and Filer's Corner, it sort of has a weird cutoff for where Charter's laid out their cable. And with Filer's, I think it's because there's a lot of gaps and a lot of bad poles. And that's why I wasn't gonna encourage anything there. And I thought Union would have been a better way of doing it, but I guess they're gonna do it all in one go at this point.
Well, one of our sub-questions was, again, Chapel being the focus, but hey, if we can make anyone else, an additional collateral connection, now's the time. And so if you're, that's why you're seeing some other road names and home names, and none of that has delayed getting you folks connected, but it would be a shame to pass other homes and not do anything.
Right, and
So-
I certainly have a hat for the
Yep.
people out on Filas and those 4 houses down on Union Road.
Yep.
Because all those 4 houses have kids, and I cannot imagine with what's going on.
And that's what I keep hitting
Parents.
home, and that's
Yeah.
why I called the Department of Education,
Yeah,
because I
a
thought
good
if
move,
they could,
because that- I
if they
can't-
could help, along, I mean, it's,
I think that's high anxiety for parents right now. What are we gonna do?
I can only imagine.
I just think it's high anxiety for everybody.
What's that?
It's high anxiety for everybody. It's
But I
just,
know, but when you have
when you have
school issues
school
and you
kids
don't have
and you're working from
options.
home yourself, it's a lot,
Mhm. Let's see. Anything else?
I think that's it. So you think you might reach out to them tomorrow or in another week or so?
Well,
They should be,
We were scheduling, and I forget what the date is, but we were scheduling updates from both. And then since that last update, I've been kind of behind the scenes trying to push where I think I might be able to push just to
we
get
appreciate
more
it,
traction.
keeping them
We're
on our
trying, we're
radar.
trying, but it's not, it's,
Well, at least they've got some stakes out there with numbers on them and orange.
that's
And that
good.
was very encouraging. when
And
we
for
went
all I
along.
know is that could be a result of last week's phone calls to the state. So that could be a reaction to that. So hopefully we'll see.
So it will be really nice when we see Chapel Road, but I was thinking that's probably how they're gonna, at least one end connect in off of
Mhm.
Castner, so they gotta get that before they can get up to us. But I hope those 4 people on the Union Road are part of this.
What else do I want to add to this? Like I said before, feel free to share my email and my cell phone number with people.
Yeah, I have.
Okay,
I
good.
think it's just frustrating because everybody wants it
Oh, yeah.
and they're kinda tired of
Mm-hmm.
it and don't wanna expend the energy.
I was just
but-
happy to get something in writing.
Mhm.
That's why I was excited.
Mhm,
Small victories.
mhm.
I take them very seriously these days.
Well, hopefully they will expedite this and we won't be looking at next spring, because even though we're seeing signs and that's encouraging, it's.
We'd like to
We
be,
still don't have it, and that's
Yeah.
our end game.
no, and you guys are, Chapel Road and the surrounding, that's not a small amount of people. We absolutely want to see you connected, and I think everyone involved would like to be on to the next project. This is critical, but man, it's been critical for a while now, if I remember right. So it'd be nice to be
Well, I've been
done.
at it almost 3 years, and I
Mhm.
think Cocoa Hill had done it 10 or 15 before, so. it's
Well,
it's a long
one of our
project.
employees just got connected last year and waited 15 years.
Oof.
So slowly, very slowly.
But frustrating, because really
Very.
under that agreement, we
Mhm.
should have been done long ago.
Yep.
So that's, I think, has created a lot of it. When John Martins moved in here on our road and he was able to connect to LCI, and I've been living on that road for 34 years waiting, so it was kind of a bitter pill to swallow when you look at the impact on
Mm-hmm.
our lives.
Mhm.
So anyways, well, thank you.
Thank
I'll
you.
pass on what I can to, thank you.
And they can always email Ruben,
Yep.
me,
I've
whoever.
told them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know that doesn't do a whole lot, and right now, while we're waiting, all we can really do is give you a place to vent and to check our math, which is always fine, and even if it only helps a little, at least it helps a little. That's really
And
what
I think any
we're
kind
after.
of positive, just even a check-in with us,
Mhm.
you get something, say, hey. this
Well, it
is
was
what
weird
we
because I
got.
sent that email and I thought, okay, I'll get a response, and then nobody responded, and I was like, I sent it Max because we'd had email issues because we switched our
Yeah.
emails over, and I was just like, Max, did you get anything? Ruben, have you heard any? I even texted you.
Yep.
Have you heard anything? Because I was like, I thought that was reasonably good news, and when I didn't hear anything, I was like, well, maybe it didn't go. So
No, we got it, but I was really taken back. I was just like, are you kidding me? This
Yeah.
is really expanded, and now it just seemed more overwhelming to me.
Mhm.
It's like, what? And then I started going out on the road, and I don't know anything about poles either, but I was doing telephone pole assessment on our road, going up where other people had cable, saying, well, geez, our pole looks as good as theirs. What's the
yeah,
problem?
that
20
was
poles?
yeah, and
mean,
I was like, that was new to me. I was like,
That was a surprise to everyone, because I've driven those roads and looked at them, and sure,
Our
there's a
poles are
couple,
good.
but, yeah.
So, anyways, that was like really frustrating. I think it might have come over a weekend, so it's like, ay.
That's a
it's
lot,
okay.
yeah.
Anyways. All right, well, appreciate you guys. Keep pushing on our behalf, and I just hope that they'll just really keep moving too and try to expedite it. I know we're not the only ones, but
No, but when we kicked off this session, priority's been Chapel, and we're gonna stay that way till we're done.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome to hang around if you want, but that's all the exciting stuff we have.
I've been up since 4:30.
Well, drive safe.
Thank you for coming.
You're welcome.
I like the engagement, I really do.
I'm sorry, but I've got phone calls to return because I was doing vehicle registrations and
You're a busy person.
absentee ballots all day, so
Absentee
Thanks for
ballots,
making
who
the
cares
time.
about that?
no problem. Absentee ballots, hey, more people, we had a line today for vehicles, so
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'll see you later.
We'll
All
see
right.
you.
See ya.
Let's see, on to the next thing. I'm going to a meeting tomorrow at LCI to talk about RDOF grants and to look at some maps with Randall. It's a very sort of baseline conversation just to see if there's any opportunities in the area that we weren't paying attention to or that might take us by surprise. No real hidden or secret thing, but just full disclosure, that's where I'll be at 3:30 or 3:45 tomorrow.
And you said that this discussion is going to be about what?
We're gonna look at some maps and the RDOF grant, the Rural Digital Opportunity Fund. Those are USDA grants for placing broadband in certain things. It's a very vague sort of conversation plan, so I don't have a specific road I'm gonna go tell you to look at. or talk about. I'm gonna see if anything in there covers Waldeboro. It's just sort of a general conversation. And just to continue to talk about, what Tidewater's up to and all that stuff. So there's no other specific goal, but Randall was kind enough to give me some time. And I want to keep that communication up. It's been a good group to talk with.
Well, and I think since the last time we've had this meeting, Ruben, you and I spoke with Alan Hinsey and Randall Manning at LCI to sort of start this whole thing off, pretty much to get and Alan actually, good timing, got us a value for how much it would be to hook up Store Mountain.
I have that open right here.
You have that right in front of you.
Yep.
I was hoping you did. Do you have the price and everything? Just
I have the total, this says the total project cost is about $32,000. I took that and divided it by 36 and then by 7, assuming a 3-year contract. And this number doesn't mean anything. I broke it out that way, knowing what the total investment would be and knowing how many customers it would connect and knowing that probably all 7 in that road would be interested. And I came out with a number that's about $127 a month. That's just to recoup their cost. And I would not expect Tidewater, LCI would want to lay down 32 grand and then hope to recoup it over 3 years from 7 customers. That was just a base number. I haven't taken the number any farther than that. That was, considering the technology they'd be deploying, pretty good number. And they break that down to fiber build cost of 25 grand and new customer install cost at 7 grand. So that, the final run of the houses, the boxes that bolt to the side.
yeah, I remember 25 was the figure they gave us, I think, like a year or so ago
Yep.
when we were looking at connecting it. That 7,000, I never heard that until now, I guess. Because last year it was just 25,000. That's all that's needed, and now it's 32.
So, and this might be a good question, but this is broken down a little more granularly. They're showing 6,700 feet of 24 count fiber.
Yep.
The new customer install just says new customer install cost. I don't know what a network interface box costs, but $1,000 a box, considering what those boxes do, wouldn't be the most shocking thing I've ever heard. I don't know what technology they're using though, and I don't know what else they're associating that with.
I'm just saying, I think there's going to be some people from Store Mountain
Yep.
who I will be talking with soon who are going to be surprised to hear that number.
Okay.
And I think it's just going to be saying, yeah, that 7,000 is solely just because of new hookup costs.
Yes. I mean, it would be a different kind of fiber, if I understand the system right. It might be worth it if there's interest there for any angle. Maybe we can get a more granular breakdown.
Perhaps, I don't know how further down they break it down, because
No,
I think that's the same breakdown they gave us when we asked them about Chapel back in December, I think.
Oh, okay.
But I think so. I don't know. You're going to be talking with Randall tomorrow, so.
Well, I'll bring that up for sure.
Oh, yeah. But 32,000, if we were to do a Connect Main round, I don't know how well it's going to go.
Mhm.
But 16,000, maybe 50-50 match for a Connect Main grant. Would then leave 16,000 to find a match. I don't know if LCI is willing to chip in any for this, but I think we could actually get speaking with one of the private residents, I think we could probably get a match and
Okay.
have a decent application. And because this is going to be paired with the $15 million bond that was just approved, their chances are going to look pretty good.
So what's in our way from starting that process up?
I don't know when the grant is going to be.
Okay.
It could be next month. It could be in January. And I've already spoken with Brooke Johnson, and she's going to keep me in the loop for when that's going to happen.
Brooke's awesome.
And then the other thing is just if LCI is willing to put any money into
Mhm.
helping this. I know they were going to put in $10,000 for Chapel Road, but 18 compared to 6, there's probably going to be a bit of a difference. They're probably not going to do 10,000. They're probably going to do something less, but again, you can talk with them tomorrow, or I can reach out to them and see if they're willing to put anything in there.
I'm happy to bring it up, but I think reaching out from you is a really good idea.
Okay.
Just to
I'm
keep
wondering
that
if
same
we've
pattern.
heard whether there's any input from people who are concerned about this pandemic and the effect that that is having on communications with rural residents. If there's anything in the works that we've heard of, I have not heard of anything.
I haven't heard, the only piece of news I've heard doesn't cover Waldoboro, and that's that Verizon is rolling out, they're calling it unlimited broadband over cellular. It's really a 30 gig cap before it throttles the speed down. But when I looked at the list of zip codes, Rockland's included. Waldoboro and Warren aren't. I don't know why that is. I forwarded the page to everyone to look at. And my intent is to see if I can get someone at Verizon that will talk to me about it. They rolled that out all across the eastern seaboard. I'm not a big fan of satellite internet or cellular or anything that doesn't have a physical wire to the house. However, if the choice is nothing or a 20, 30 meg cellular connection, then yeah, let's do the cellular, even if only interim. What's interesting about that plan is it's at least a fixed known cost. It's not per gig until you go broke. It's 60 or 70 bucks. Which again, there are people paying that for a 3 meg DSL pipe because that's all they can get. I was disappointed the Waldoboro zip code didn't come up. I know in terms of cellular coverage, this area is actually pretty decent. But there's sharing poles and there's having your own equipment on the poles, and I don't know what the real fine details are on that right now. That's the only other new thing. I would be encouraged if we could make that work here at any level. For 3 days last week when Spectrum was down, my wife and I used my Google Fi, our cellular connection. It was good enough. You know, I think we used 4 gigs over 3 days working remotely, but my wife, who works from home all the time, was able to keep working. And if I were at a home that didn't have anything and I had that available, it was still obviously a step up.
Thank you. Well, it's obvious that that's one of the effects of the pandemic, and the great need, is a lot, not just students, but people working from home, and so on. And I know that in emergency situations, sometimes funds are released to help.
Yeah.
You know, like if there were a flood or something like that. So I haven't heard myself. So.
Well, that's an excellent question, and one we should keep asking ourselves every day, and go looking.
I think with this pandemic, a lot of the funding we're talking about is probably going to be more of a hindsight thing that's going to be enforced. Like a lot of the procedures we're doing right now, just like us wearing masks or the remote participation, a lot of that's probably going to be like more of a norm that's going to be more encouraged, and there's going to be more funding available in the future. And same thing with broadband. I would imagine that might be part of future Connect Main grants, or even there might be an emergency fund for more education ones, even if it's giving a temporary cellular signal. But unfortunately, I don't think we're going to see that funding anytime soon.
No, it's expensive. I would like to see broadband built like a utility. Time was, there was no electricity everywhere, and it took a lot of pushes to get that built. That wasn't just private companies making money, that was funded projects. Same thing with telephony. Back when Ma Bell was was a monopoly, before monopoly was a dirty word. That's how they got all that infrastructure out. If you guys haven't read a book called The Master Switch, go get it and read it, or listen to it. It's a great Audible book. It talks about that stuff a lot, and might give you some new perspective. And will probably make you hate your cable bill if you have one, but it's a really good read.
All right. Bob just left. I don't know
Okay.
what happened, but
Well,
I don't know. We can at least keep moving on. I don't know what else there was for unserved pockets.
I'd have to bring up my list for smaller roads. I've been focusing really on Chapel and Store. There's other smaller stuff, but I don't have an active thread on what's left for this round.
I got a map from LCI recently to show where all their fiber is. I'm trying to get a similar one from Charter right now to show where all their broadband is. And then once I sort of have that together, I can at least get a better idea of the unserved pockets. Still waiting on some figures from Charter to see if the list of roads that I've given them before, if they can get some prices, but don't have anything so far on that.
Are these maps privileged information, or?
No, because I have them. So I can share it. Well, what I'm gonna do anyways is I'm gonna put them on I'm gonna combine them into one map anyways, and then that final product will be more of something I'm gonna probably put on the town website. There's a few things I wanna put on the town website. I just don't know where it would go exactly, and if Julie will allow me to put it on there.
I wouldn't be surprised, there are certain things those companies won't publish, but usually I've seen a lot of wired network maps that are just out there. If you had the same question for cellular infrastructure outside of towers, or anything that's got any kind of government connection, then it's usually a different game. LCI's been pretty open about that stuff. I've seen
Oh,
the
yeah.
maps a few times.
Good.
Well, they used to have the maps right here in the town
Yep.
office.
Yep. I guess that's the only other point to repeat is everyone needs to remember these companies aren't charities, and no
Oh,
one's
yeah.
got. Every now and then you'll find someone that thinks there's some conspiracy to keep a road from being connected. I don't think that's happening with. I think everyone currently involved up to now is pretty good. I think our modern state is pretty good. I just don't want to lose sight of that. There's been so many interactions that have gone south and cost us time and cost us progress.
Yep.
Right now, we've done a lot of relationship work, and I think we're in a good place. I want to stay there.
I think, as I said earlier, I think Filer's Corner would have probably been one of the better places that Charter could have gone through to connect Chapel, but those were just some terrible poles up there. And I think they looked at using it from Union because that looked like the more cost-effective one, and now it's 20 poles. So
I think everyone was a little surprised by that, which, I mean, well, none of us work for the utilities, so it's hard to know. I have no reason not to trust them, but yeah, that's a lot of telephone pole.
Who knows? There could have been like some mid-2000s termites or something in there. Who knows?
We've been through a few ice storms. We've been through a lot of events that
Oh,
could
that's
have
true.
damaged those. Or they might just have a limited lifespan, and we've given them a reason to do that as a project.
They're probably on a schedule
Yep.
for being replaced.
Well, we seem to be Bobless. Did either of you folks have anything else you want to go over?
The only other thing I had on the only things I had left on the agenda are minutes, which can't be done because Bob's not here, and then new business, which is Connect Maine. But I've already said that I don't know when that's going to be. Brooke Johnson from Connect Maine will give me an update for when it's happening, and I'm crossing my fingers, knocking on wood, hoping that Chapel's done. I'm probably going to focus on doing more of a store mountain one. Although some people want their charter done, so it might be two. I'm going to also ask Alan if it's all right, they're willing to share the information. If there's similar roads to like Store Mountain somewhere in the area, so it could be more of a combined piece, like even if it's not another road here in Waldoboro, if there's one where, it's a road right off of LCI's line, and they're the only one who can provide it, and it's not too abnormal of a cost, but it's still, they need funding to do it. Perhaps combine it to like what we wanted to do with Flanders Corner last year. Just so we're saying it's not 6 people, it's going to be multiple people, and we got our match, they have their match, that type of thing. Although obviously, if it can't find any, or if no one's willing to do the match, then I'm just going to do Store Mountain. Because this is a good opportunity with a $15 million grant, loan or bond that I don't want to waste it.
Yeah, no, I agree.
That's all I had for new business.
All right. Well, with that, I guess we don't have enough people to vote to adjourn, but I say we stop talking.
Yes.
If anyone objects, they may call me at home.
All right, so we're
No.
done?
Yep.
I vote we adjourn.